Let's take a look at where we left off last time. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control G. And now when I press the left mouse button, you can see I can rotate this around. Sometimes you just kind of have to fiddle with your scene just a little bit to make sure, especially when you're doing a restart, to make sure everything sets right. You know, like the movement and all that good stuff. Come on. There we go. All right. It would be a little bit more fun if I could move the paddle with the mouse. Give me a little bit more control. So let's take a look at another way of doing this. I'll show you the quick way of just sort of, so you could test it out in here, and then we'll create a couple more events. Looks like I have 2 mouse button lefts here. Let me go ahead and junk this one. And instead of mouse button left here, I'm just going to go ahead and change it to mouse delta X. And what this is going to do is find the axis of when I move my mouse left and right. Don't forget to save this. Now when I hit Control G, as I'm moving my mouse left and right, it's sort of spinning this guy around. Now, let's take a look at jumping back into our script and a way that we can better compartmentalize this. I'm actually going to change this back to mouse button left and save this. And I'm going to change my event name to mouse, well, we'll leave it as left mouse button for now. Let's go ahead and add another event name. Just for this, or another input event, so like input event group rather. So I'm going to go ahead and hit plus here next to that, and I'm just going to call this left mouse movement, and I'm going to hit Control A and Control C to copy that. And for my event generators here, I'm going to do another input event. You can see when you click the drop down here under input, essentially for that particular thing, you only get the input. So now let's open up this event generator, and we don't want a gamepad, though you could test this out and with your left thumbstick, but we're just going to do mouse delta X. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hit Control S. Remember to save this. And let's just jump into our script canvas for this. And down here, I'm going to just right click and create an input handler. Now for this input handler, I'm going to hit Control V and just create a left mouse event. The value here is me moving my mouse left and right on the x-axis. That's what the value is. Press is essentially going to be, well, what do I do? Well, I'm kind of pressing my mouse down against the my mouse pad here. So what we can do is we can look at our editing here, and we can take a, I'm going to do this a little bit different. Before we created this whole setup, which is good, and we're going to expand on that too later. But for now, I want to kind of show you this minimum viable component, I should say, instead of product, but for what we're going to do. And under the transform here, you could see there's rotate around local X. So I'm going to drop this in here. And I'm not going to hook up the value just yet because I want you to see what happens if you just hook up the pressed. So I'm going to hit Control S on this. Now remember, this is our left mouse movement. And then what I want to do up here, I'm going to actually, remember from this point forward, essentially, we are actually setting the local rotation. So I'm just going to hold Alt and break those connections so that it doesn't utilize this. It's only using this down here, which is our left mouse movement. Now, when I go in here, watch what happens. I'm going to hit Control G, and actually, let's see, why aren't we moving at all? I guess maybe we have to get that value. Oh, I didn't enter a value. So let's enter like 0.1 here, and I'm going to hit Control S. Now, what happens is, yeah, there we go. Now I'm moving my mouse to the right and the left, and it's only moving in one direction. And the reason for that is it's not actually getting the value from my mouse. And that's why it's important that you hook this up. Now, we'll add a multiplier node in a second to better control the speed. But if I hit Control Z here and I move it left and right, it's actually going way too fast. Let's go ahead and add that. Let's do multiplier. And we want to do math multiplier here. And I'm just going to link these up here. And just go ahead. What I want to do is from the value here, it's going to be the top value. Let's break that. times a number. So I'm going to do 0.5. Maybe we'll try that, see if that's too big. All right, so in here, I'm going to hit Control G. Oh, it's still too fast. Okay. But what I'm actually doing is I am moving my mouse right to left. So let's do 0.1 here. And run that again. And as I move my mouse left and right, it's actually going around with the corresponding axis. Yeah, it's too crazy. 0.01 maybe? Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. Actually, it's kind of going in the opposite direction. Let's see if we do -1 here. Let's save that. Yeah, there we go. Now it's moving more along the lines with the way my mouse actually moves. But it's still kind of a little stiff. And we'll take a look at smoothing that out. All right, let's do the same thing. I'm going to do, I shouldn't do left mouse movement. I should do X mouse movement, actually. And we can just kind of shrink this down to X mouse MOV. And I'm going to hit Control A, Control C, copy that. And then I'm going to create another input event up here just to kind of show you, repeat those steps. And for this event name, I'm going to name this one Y mouse event. And let's add a input binding here. And then for this input binding, we're going to do the same thing, except it's going to be on the y-axis. Let's see, boom, there we go. And I don't know if we need to invert that, but let's see. Let's check it out. So back in our script canvas here, let's go ahead and copy this. Actually, we really just need to, yeah, let's copy this whole thing and paste it down here. And we need to change those names. We have Y mouse here. And then we have, let's see, X mouse here. This really should be a capital Y. I'm going to change it over here too. And don't forget, you have to save. Like, you have to do File Save or Control S. And then for here, we're going to just plug this into, not rotate around local X. We're going to rotate along local Y. Let's see, Entity Transform, rotate around local Y. And we're going to plug those values in here. Save that. And I'm going to hit Control G. Yeah, see, now as I'm moving this around, I move it forward, I move it back. It gives me a little bit more control.